Are cats really our pets, or are we actually their pets? Tune in tonight at 11. So, on a more serious note, I actually want to talk about stress and anxiety and worry. And really, one of the main reasons on why I or we go through a lot of stress and anxiety and worry. We all have our struggles, we all have our everyday problems, and that's been something that been coming up for me a lot recently. And I have a tendency to really just over exaggerate the problem and go into panic mode. And what one of my old therapists said called catastrophizing, where it's basically the tendency to see everything, every problem, whether minor or major, as an absolute catastrophe. So therefore, catastrophizing the issue, and of course, like worries and problems and struggles are very real, right, for us on a personal level. And whether it is big, whether it is small, or whether we are actually viewing these issues or problems as whether we're viewing them with an accurate, objective, level of intensity, at least in the moment. The problem that comes up, there tends to be a more intense reaction to the problem. And like I've been dealing with some personal issues, and one of the things that I came to realize is that more of the question that I started asking myself is, okay, like, yes, these things are all very valid, but what is it that I can actually do, and what is it that I can actually control and influence, right? And that really led me to think and kind of started to realize that there are things that we can do, right, to help kind of mitigate the problem or work towards a solution. And there are things that we cannot do, which is just totally out of our control. And I just started asking myself, like, what is the kind of the cause of more like long term or chronic stress and worry over a particular issue that we're facing? And I think a major like influencing factor to more chronic stress and anxiety is really the disproportionate amount of attention that we give towards things that we cannot control. Let's just say for like our physical body, right? Let's just say, I that during quarantine or whatever, I let myself go, and I lived a completely sedentary lifestyle, and I just kind of didn't do anything to take care of my physical well-being, and I just ate and ate, in an excessive calorie surplus, and I ended up gaining 50 pounds. And let's just also say that, ever since I was young, like a kid, I've been diagnosed with, diabetic tendencies, or high blood pressure, or mildly high blood pressure. So let's just say I go to the doctor, and they tell me like, hey, you're like overweight, and your blood pressure's not looking too good. So that's the news that I get, right? So obviously the stress and the worry will, and the focus would be on, okay, like, how can I get myself back to healthy? So with the controllable factors, is yeah, I can watch my diet, I can increase my exercise, and do certain things, and eat healthier food to kind of get my weight down, get back to a healthier level. So those are things that I can definitely control. But if I start also stressing obsessively over, things like my tendency to have high blood pressure, or diabetic tendencies or things like that, if I start obsessing over those things as well, then I feel like that's probably a major influencing factor towards chronic worry and anxiety over things that we might not necessarily have control over. So that's just one example. And like a common one is the aging process, right, of the human body. As people get older, like our bodies get older. It's inevitable. But there are certain things that we can definitely do to improve and maintain our health for as long as possible. But there are just certain things that we simply cannot control, right? Like if I start losing hair, or if my hair start, turning gray, like those aren't things that I can necessarily control. So if I start worrying obsessively over those things, like I'm probably just gonna end up, losing more hair and things like that. Whereas if I just focus more on controlling the controllables, such as exercise, sleep, diet, those are things I can definitely control that will help improve my overall quality of life, so to speak. So this is really a reminder to everyone, and especially for myself, that for the most part, at the end of the day, focus more on controlling the controllables and just let the rest be. Peace.